Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, hello there in ASCAP from New York. I deeply regret that I'm unable to join you in person today. However, this is such an important event addressing such a critical topic that I wanted to contribute personally in some way. So here I am sharing with you a very brief message because I have sent there with you the chief of the Social Perspective and Development Branch, Mrs. Wingyang Yang, who is representing me, and she's there on my behalf and on behalf of DESA. What is DESA? Well, DESA is the Department of Economic and Social Affairs and the Division for Social Policy and Development, which I lead, as you know, recently issued its latest report on the world situation entitled Inequality Matters. And as you well know, the topic of inequality could not be more relevant or urgent. The need to bridge the divide between the haves and the have-not is growing, and poverty reduction has been uneven both within and across countries, leaving many people behind. Large disparities remain in, for instance, access to health and education, or between the rich and the poor, and between rural and urban households, just to mention a few. So, similarly, traditionally disadvantaged social groups continue to be particularly vulnerable to poverty, such as indigenous peoples, persons with disabilities, and youth. And I would say that even more worrisome, social and economic inequalities are growing in rich and poor countries alike. The pursuit of rapid economic growth and prosperity has excluded people living in poverty. So our report shows that inequality matters, not only for people in poverty, but also for the overall well-being of society, and inequalities hinder economic growth and social cohesion. Inequalities make it more difficult for people to escape poverty, and we all gain from the participation of people living in poverty, women or older persons, in social and in economic life. So, if inequalities continue to widen, what happens to development? Development will not be inclusive, and development will not be sustainable. Now, the good news from the report is that policies do matter and have been effective in reducing inequality. So, reducing inequalities requires transformative change. It needs inclusive economic growth and decent jobs, and access to quality basic social services for all. It must also maintain progress over time and across generations. Equality has emerged as a central issue in the global consultation on the post-2015 Sustainable Development Goals. And above all, the Secretary General has called upon member states to give the reduction of inequalities the highest priority in the forthcoming development agenda. We need to ensure that the new development agenda fosters greater inclusion and that progress towards sustainable development reaches all individuals and all social groups. I have shared with you, as I said, this brief message. My colleague, Mrs. Wingyang Yang, will share with you more. She will answer to your questions. I want, therefore, to thank you all for having invited me, and I want also to thank my colleague there and my colleagues in ASCAP. I really wish you a great, successful meeting, and please do read this report, Inequality Matters. Goodbye.